Ambulance that the driver had passed away, but that they were not sure if there was somebody in the passenger seat. Even
about my day, that Monday I wake up, when I go downstairs, I notice that the house is dark. Like there's this darkness around the house. My house is extremely light. I have my
do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me.
Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny and welcome back to another episode. So get ready because this story is so good. Go ahead and grab your drink, grab your coffee, grab your wine, grab your snack, grab your smoke, whatever it is, because we have another good.
Okay, you guys, before I even get started on this one, get your blanket, your hot cocoa, tea, coffee, whatever it is you need, just get it. Okay, because this one's going to leave you in chills. So, yes, this story is going to be pertaining to the lady from my last story. And if you haven't seen that, I would recommend you go to my profile and go check it out so that you can catch up and come back to this one. By the way, it's going to be kind of brief because it was a brief interaction, but it's concluding. When I was younger, me and my grandma used to sometimes go and visit some family from out of town. And on this particular trip, we ended up going to St. Simon Island or St. Simon Beach. I lost my flip-flop in the water. I had to go get it and I got scared because I got dizzy. Had to run back. But yeah, that's just part of that. Anyway, while we were there, my uncle took me and a few of my cousins to the playground. So while we're walking towards this playground, you guys, we passed like a dock that had a gazebo at the end. And as we're passing this dock, I just hear someone clear as day yell my name out in my ear. Like close, like as if they're standing next to me walking with us. So I'm startled. I'm looking around. Nobody close. Nobody near me. I finally look to my left and there's this beautiful woman, slightly heavy set, with like a full magenta outfit. It was so pretty. She had this big magenta beach hat, a magenta blouse with a long magenta skirt, the sandals to match. She was dripped out. Okay, I am back. Not sure what's going to be scarier, the rest of this story or my lashes. Anyway, continuing the story about the lady in magenta. As I said, not too much happened. However, when I looked up and seen her, I stopped. And like the rest of my family kind of kept walking. So I just started talking to her and she's just like, hey, JoJo, what you doing today? What you got planned, girl? Like a regular weird conversation with this adult woman. And I'm only probably like 6 or 7 years old. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to the park with my family, continue on with my day like nothing even happened. Like this was a normal experience for me as a child for some reason because I had already seen so many weird things that I just thought it was normal. So yeah, of course then it didn't spook me, but thinking about it now as an adult, I'm like, what the heck? That was weird, but it happened. I don't know where that lady knew me from. I don't know how she knew me. I don't know her set. But thinking about it now, I feel like she almost purposely spoke to me after she like realized that I wasn't close enough to my family to make it seem awkward. But I don't know what the heck that was, and I hope nobody else out there seen me just talking to somebody that wasn't there, because if she wasn't there, that's even more weird. That's just even more weird. I don't know, because like stranger danger is one thing, of course, and then talking to a ghost, what? Like, comment. Okay, I am back.
So this guy says that he's been working as a paramedic in Mexico City for many years, and throughout his career he has experienced really weird things, but what I'm about to tell you is one of the craziest things he's ever experienced. So there was one night where they received an urgent call because there was an accident in one of the streets, and of course they responded to it right away. When they got to the accident, they immediately noticed that the car had ran into a tree and the front of it was completely destroyed. His ambulance was one of the first ones to get to the scene of the accident. The cops told the ambulance that the driver had passed away, but that they were not sure if there was somebody in the passenger seat. Even when they tried to look, they just couldn't tell because, like he said, the front of the car was completely destroyed. So he began doing his job and they found out that there were indeed 2 people in the front seat. They were unrecognizable. Like he says, I've been a paramedic and when I saw this, it like my stomach just twisted. He says that yeah, you're used to the job, but sometimes when you see the people and the conditions that they are, like Like, that's not something that you can get used to. It was a man and a woman on the passenger side. They ended up taking the woman out first, and then they needed help from a firefighter to get the man out of the driver's seat. He said they were finally able to get both of the bodies into ambulances, and then the tow truck came to get the car and take it. But it was in the moment when they were already in the ambulance where his co-worker showed him something. It was something that he had taken from the car that had crashed into the tree. It was a strange looking rag doll. Against their better judgment, they decided to open up that rag doll since they had those gloves on, and what they saw was a skinless rat. He says it was disgusting, but that wasn't even the worst part, because the skinless rat was like a little bit opened and they can see a little plastic bag. When they pulled the plastic bag out, there was a piece of paper in there. They carefully took out that piece of paper and they read the following: Carlos, I condemn you and your new girlfriend for hurting me so bad, for abandoning me to leave with her. You will pay for this with your death. And below that were like words from a different language that he couldn't understand, and 2 tiny pictures of the victims. He explained that after reading that, him and his co-worker just like stayed paralyzed for a little bit. They were both just sitting there looking at one another, because it was very obvious that it seemed like someone did brujeria on the people that had just died in that accident. And they believed that the guy's ex-girlfriend was the cause of their death. They said that they immediately called the police to give them that stuff, but the police couldn't do anything about it. Of course they couldn't do anything, because they couldn't get any evidence that she was the one who had caused this entire thing other than this note. You know what I mean? Like, there was no proof and there was no way this would go to court. He explains how, like, to the police this didn't mean shit, but how he just became very aware that there is very horrible people in this world. I feel like we all know that. Like, growing up, my grandfather used to always say you should be more scared of the living than the dead. But what do you guys think?
This is reason number 1 as to why you should always be very careful when inviting anyone into your home, even family. So for those of you guys who follow me on here, you already know that my father and I don't have the best relationship. Recently, I found out that he had a baby, so I reached out. We ended up reuniting. I met the baby and decided to invite them over to my house for dinner. Mind you, my home is extremely protected, so if anybody comes in with any type of negativity around them, they're not gonna feel well. So he comes over. The minute he walks in, he starts to become ill. He said he felt like he was gonna faint, that he didn't know what was going on. They ended up cutting their visit short and practically rushed out of the door. I didn't think much of it and just decided to go on with my day. The next day, which was on Sunday, I woke up in the worst possible mood. I couldn't understand why I was in such a bad mood. I had absolutely no reason to feel so angry, but something was just really bothering me. I decided to take the kids to go watch the new Spider-Man to kind of get my mind off of it. Once I left the house, I realized that I no longer felt like that anger. Like, it was gone and I felt fine. But the minute we went back home, I started to feel angry again. Decided to ignore it. I don't know why I keep ignoring things. Decided to ignore it, went about my day. That Monday I wake up, when I go downstairs, I notice that the house is dark. Like, there's this darkness around the house. My house is extremely light. My shades are always open. I don't like darkness. But again, busy with work, I kind of just get ready and go about my day. When I get home later on that day, the house has this weird, like, rotting smell. My kids can't smell it, but I can smell it, and it's bothering me. So I go around cleaning the house. I'm like bleaching, I'm scrubbing, I'm mopping. I'm like, where's that smell coming from? I even like deep clean the trash can, like in the inside, thinking maybe something spilled in there. I couldn't get the smell from like out of my nose. That night I go to bed and I end up waking up at exactly 3 a.m. So I'm like, fun, this is fun. I'm like getting chills even thinking about it. My mouth is so freaking dry. I go downstairs to get something to drink. When I go downstairs, I notice that the basement door is open. I never leave that door open. So I shut it, grabbed the water, and went back to my room. The minute I lay down, I'm paralyzed. This thing paralyzes me, and it shows itself. I'm like fighting back again. I'm not afraid of any of this stuff because I've been dealing with this stuff my whole life. So I'm pretty much laughing at it, telling it that it has no power, it needs to leave. I start to pray, and it's continuing to like hold me down. At one point, I'm able to break free and I like overpower this thing. I have one of those Stanley cups, the dupe, not the real one. I'm not spending $40 on a cup. Next to my nightstand, and I started to hit it in the head with it. Once I did this, it went away. I say my prayers and go to sleep. I wake up at about 6 a.m. and decide to go downstairs to get my coffee. When I go downstairs into the kitchen, I hear what sounds like something like fumbling in the basement, like something's falling over in the basement. And then I look and realize that the basement door is open.
New fear unlocked. If you have an attic, there could be someone secretly living up there as you're watching this video and you wouldn't even know. One of my followers named Noah sent me this really crazy story through my Instagram DMs about how him and his parents found someone secretly living in their house attic. Noah told me this happened 3 years ago when they moved into their new house. His family moved from Jersey to Georgia due to his dad finding a way better paying job down there. Noah told me he wasn't excited at all to move. And maybe this was his parents' karma for not listening to him. He told me he desperately wanted to stay in Jersey because if he moved to Georgia, he would basically have to restart his life and make new friends in a state that he was unfamiliar with. His parents honestly didn't care, and soon after they broke the news to him that they were moving, a few days later, there was a moving truck in their front yard. Noah told me the day they moved in, the sky was gloomy and dark. The vibes just weren't there. He remembers walking into the house and it smelled like rotten eggs mixed with spoiled milk. Apparently, it was because they didn't clean out the vents. Noah told me he hated everything about this house, to his room, to the living room, to the kitchen, to the bathroom. He hated everything. He also told me he felt really weird in the house. Not because he just moved in and he was homesick from his old house, but just something was off. Noah said that same day, as he was helping his dad move some things into his parents' new room, he told me it felt like someone had already stepped foot into the room that they were in. You know when someone passes by you and you can smell their scent? That's what it was like to Noah. It was like someone was there a few seconds before them and then somehow disappeared. It was a strange feeling. Noah told me that feeling never went away, and in the span of 3 days, unusual stuff started to happen within the house. The first night, while Noah was sleeping in his room, he woke up to the sound of giggling. Every few seconds he would hear it, and he thought his parents were being obnoxiously loud. He remembers yelling, "Shut up," and the giggling stopped. The morning of, when he asked his parents about why they were being so loud, they told him they were sound asleep, and even if they were laughing, there would have been no way that he would have been able to hear them because their rooms are pretty far apart. This same day, while his dad was in the house alone and Noah and his mom were out shopping, Noah told me his dad saw a figure run across the hallway. He said he was sitting on the couch watching TV, nearly falling asleep, when all of a sudden he heard a door slightly creaking open. He became alert and sat up from the couch, looking around. At one point, as his eyes moved from the hallway to the living room, he swears he saw the silhouette of a person running across the hallway into a room. But he just came to the conclusion that he was seeing things because he was tired and went back to sleep on the couch. Now, the next day was when they all realized that they weren't tripping the first time. Noah told me while his mom was taking a shower, both Noah and his dad heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the bathroom. When they busted down the door, Noah told me his mom was hyperventilating, pointing at the ceiling. She told them when she was scrubbing her body down, at one point she looked up at the ceiling and noticed something strange. A little tiny light beamed on her that went from green to red and then disappeared. Trying not to freak out, she kept her eye on the spot of the ceiling, walked out, turned the bathroom light off, and grabbed her phone. When she stepped back into the shower, she turned her phone flashlight on and quickly shined it at the area where she said she saw an eyeball. So she knew it was an eye because she could see the iris and whites around it. And when she shined her flashlight, the eye blinked and it backed up, and she heard someone go, "Ah!" In that moment, she knew someone was watching her and she screamed. Fast forward, Noah told me both him and his dad went up to the attic with a baseball bat ready to attack while his mom called the police. Noah told me up in the attic it smelled rotten from before. There were trash bags everywhere, empty food containers, blankets, and as they got closer to where the man was hiding, he popped up and told them not to attack. Noah told me he was an older man, had no front teeth, was a little bit on the skinnier side, and had marks all over his face. They brought the guy downstairs, and come to find out, this man had been living in their house, or squatting as they would say, literally way before they moved in. Every morning or afternoon when they weren't home, he would leave the attic, go downstairs to where their fridge is, take food, and hurry back up in the attic without them knowing. When the police arrived, they told him that he was a squatter and that squatters can be dangerous. Most cases involve them attacking anyone that comes near them, so this was a rare incident of that not happening. The police also told him that when squatters find houses like this, they usually go back and tell others that it's safe to stay in. The man was arrested, and moving forward, Noah and his family all slept in a hotel. Noah told me his dad informed the local news station, and they were able to get coverage about this incident, which ended up getting the whole town involved, and they helped them get a new place. Fast forward to today, Noah told me everything is fine, and he's actually having the most fun time in Georgia. They moved to a much bigger house in a really safe neighborhood, and now his parents always warn and share their story to new house owners about people that could possibly be living in their house, and they won't even know it until it's too late.
I slept with this guy who I believe is either a succubus or a demon. I am back with another spooky story. Fro is not froing right now, so let's just try and mind our business, okay? So we're gonna call the person who submitted the story Sierra. So Sierra met this guy, we're gonna call him James. And Sierra says from the very first time that she ever met James, James is so charismatic. It's just something about James that attracted her to him. He was very charismatic, can hold a conversation. Most importantly, James made Sierra feel seen. She said that she met James at a party, and even though she's really not that type of girl, things progressed pretty fast. She said that when she met him, it was like that of a movie, where everything froze and the only person that she could see was James from across the room. Which now thinking back, I wonder if he was sent to me. So she said this whole time at the party, James and her were making eye contact with each other until he decided to come over and talk to her. It was towards the end of the party, they decided to go outside and get some food together. And while they're getting food, they get to talking. What Sierra assumed would be a quick trip to get some food and, just a casual conversation turned into an hour of talking to 2 hours of talking to now being at this guy's crib and doing the bada boom bada bang thank you ma'am. She says that she cannot stress it enough that this guy is her typical type from head to toe. It was almost like crazy that she felt like she had found her soulmate from day one. And after the sex, it just pretty much further confirmed everything, that this guy was the guy for Sierra, or so she thought. Now, Sierra says that she would describe herself as a chill girl. She's not the type of person to go crazy over anybody, and her parents also always instilled self-worth into her. So she really doesn't understand the next series of events that would happen. She fell madly in love with James after like the first day. All she could think about was James. It was as though she was obsessed with James. If she didn't know any better, she would have thought a love spell or something was done to her. But what are the odds considering she had just met this guy? Maybe she just really likes him. Well, she continues seeing him, and this is when Sierra starts to notice some of James's habits. James is a gallus. James or Elle can pull bitches. And Sierra, seeing how James moved with these other women, she starts to feel like, wait, am I not different? Are you just like this with everybody? She kept seeing him and everything was just going way too good between them two. Even though there were other women involved, and she knew that. Just always thought that James was young and eventually James was going to lock down and make her his wife. While Sierra is falling deeper and deeper in love with James, it seems like James started to switch. The more invested and in love and involved Sierra got, the more distant James became, which caused this push and pull effect in their relationship. Sierra always felt like James really cared about her, so one day she decided, you know what, I don't like the way he's been acting lately, so I'm just gonna stop reaching out to him and see if he reaches out to me. Sierra said during that break, this is when she realized that something was definitely off, as she felt like this guy had an intense hold on her. She was dreaming about this guy every single night, whether it be dreams of them hooking up, them being in a relationship together, him proposing to her, or him straight up telling her that you are not strong enough to ever leave me. You need me in your life. Every single time, Sierra would wake up from the dream feeling like, yeah, maybe I do need this guy. Maybe I do miss this guy. Even though it was difficult, after a couple of tries, Sierra knew that she had to go cold turkey because there was just something about this guy. She finally went cold turkey and stopped speaking to the guy. She just really wanted to know a couple of things, so she asked his best friend a few questions. And the conversation with the best friend was what was very eye-opening for Sierra. In that conversation, she found out that not only was she not the only one, but she was like probably one of hundreds. And that this guy is a stunner. This is what he does. For some reason, he puts ladies in a trance. This is how he gets the ladies. He's not even that attractive in real life. This is just how he presents himself. He pretty much gets all of these ladies, they fall in love with him after the first encounter, and they all feel the same way, as if he's touching their soul, as if he can really see them for who they are. And all these women get obsessed. What the best friend finds particularly interesting was the fact that every woman that this guy has ever been with has either gone so depressed that she has committed suicide, or has been so obsessed with him that it's been literal years and they just will not go away. The best friend believes that he is using these women, these lost women, to charge himself, i.e. he is using these women to fuel him. Whenever you get done, it's like you're obsessed with him, but you don't care about yourself anymore. All you can think about, all you care about is him. Sarah says that I can't believe I'm still struggling to leave this guy alone, as I feel like he has a major pull on me. It's not just me, but it's also many other women. I want people out there to be careful. Use a spiritual condom, if that exists. Thank you guys so much for watching this spooky story. If you have a story that you want to submit, either DM me on Instagram or TikTok. If you are not already, please make sure you're following me on Instagram, just so that I know that it's real. And I'm trying to get to 10K, so please. Follow me on YouTube. Just look up Rebecca's Journey on YouTube for better, longer, spookier stories. I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
All right, so, recently my family and I, we went to Mississippi to surprise my mother-in-law for her birthday. And we pulled off the surprise. She was very surprised. She was happy to see all of us. And the family all got to meet the baby, or at least my in-laws did. And so, of course, once we surprised her, of course, everybody was like, oh, let us see the baby. And, we're doing the whole meet and greet thing. And, of course, I'm not just like this on the internet. Really, when I see people, I'm like, hey, how are you? It's Rod Smith. I don't know why I do that even with people I already know. I'm kind of awkward, honestly. I'm like the Black JD Vance. But anyways, of course, my wife's family, they're Vietnamese. And anytime someone is married to or dating other, obviously, we're going to know that person looks a little bit different than everyone else. There's two of us that are Black. There's one that is of Hispanic descent. And one of her aunts is dating a white guy. And so as we're going around greeting everyone, I noticed that her aunt's boyfriend, I'm going to come back to him, was standing here back to her back right. And I kind of was like, hey, how are you? And I go to, just greet him or whatever, and he nods. And then I thought to myself, dang, nobody's talking to him. That's kind of strange. Anyway, so they go on to start playing board games, and I go downstairs to make videos. And you all remember I was standing by the tiki bar when I made the video talking about Russia. And I came back in because it was time to eat, and I realized, I was like, hey, oh, he's gone. Like, I didn't see anyone leave. So I was thinking, maybe he went to bed or whatever. That's kind of it. And so then we go back to our Airbnb. We come back the next day and he's not there. We go to her grandparents' house. He's not there. Come back the next day. He's not there. I'm like, what in the world? Did he just leave and didn't say bye to anyone? And so my wife and I were talking as we were on our way back to Alabama. And I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I met you. I said hi to your aunt's boyfriend and he nodded or whatever. But he didn't say much. And she was like, what aunt? And I was like, your aunt. And I'm not going to say her name, but, and she goes, what do you mean you met him? I was like, he was standing right behind her at the island when we all came to surprise your mom. And she looks at me and she goes, no, he left the day before we got there. And I was telling her, I was like, I'm telling you, the man was standing right there. I knew everyone else in the room. I'd never met him before. The man was standing right there to her back right-hand side. And she said, I'm telling you, there was no one else there. He left the day before we did. And so, again, I've never met him before. And so I was like, show me a picture, please. Just show me a picture. And she shows me a picture, and y'all, it was not the man. So there was some guy standing in the room with us that no one else saw, and I did. I think I saw a ghost. And here is the kicker. That night we got there, now I'm not trying to talk my baby up, but we have a really happy baby. She goes to anyone. You hand her off and she's going to smile in your face and want to play in your face. That child cried the entire time we were there that night. So I think there was a ghost or some sort of spirit in there. And for some reason, me and her were the only two that saw him. Y'all, wow, it is Mississippi after all. What are y'all thoughts on that?